Everything good?
Everything's good.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was trying to share the live stream out early, like you told me how to, and fucking, it still takes me a while. I'm always behind on things like this, but
Right.
we got a bunch of the creators out here, right? So let's bring them on, bro.
All right, man. Our regular pinch hitter, the Coco.
Pinch hitter. Yeah, I know this guy. I've seen him. I've
I
seen him
see
around
him.
a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, Tom?
Oh my God. Talk about dry toast right there.
Yes. Damn. Somebody spread some butter on that guy.
Whoa. Butter. We're not in prison. Come on now.
Damn. Tom.
Yes.
What? You know what, man? You know what? Forget you. Braden, how you doing, brother?
Hey, no one spread butter on me. All right, I'm doing good, guys. I'm doing good.
What's up?
All right. But Braden, introduce yourself real quick.
Yeah, Braden, writer and creator of Haven, now Sketch Night, live on Kickstarter.
All right, cool. Scott, how you been, man?
I've been doing all right. Thanks for having me.
Listen, man, you know how it is, brother. Anytime. So please introduce yourself.
Sure, I'm Scott Harris King from Crimebuster Comics, which is another name for Scott Harris King. It's just me. But I do have 3 ongoing series. Crimebusters, Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam, and Quest.
Cool. All right. Very nice. Very nice. Jack, how you been?
I'm out here representing the best root beer of the classics.
Nice. Please introduce yourself, sir.
My name's Jack. I'm a fantasy nerd. My imprint is Arcane Industries. We've got issue 6 of Legends of the Realm out on Kickstarter right now.
All right. Cool. Dees, how you been, man?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Dees Casillas. I am a writer, creator of the comic book Kill Stan and owner of Inferno Comics.
All right, cool. All right, very nice. Like I said, my apologies for showing up late, but like I said, haven't seen my buddy in like 2.5 years. Just got back from Colombia, so.
Yeah, nice. Cool.
Yeah. All right. So let's start off with the show question. So, gentlemen, what are you watching out for in today's indie market? All right. So, very simple, nothing complicated there, depending how you take it. Dees, you're in the hot seat.
What am I watching out for like what other people are doing, or what do you quantify that a little?
Well, see, that's just it. I like leaving these questions up to the person who's answering them.
So, I mean, I like to talk about. I'll talk about other people's stuff. I mean, I'm always looking for something with a little more heart, a little more character driven, something with a purpose. I like some storytelling that has a little meat on the bone. Not that there's anything wrong with fluff pieces and some just fun punch 'em ups, but I like in the indie space. I've been finding a lot of comics where people are telling stories that mean something.
All right. That's fair. Braden, what are your thoughts?
What am I looking out? Jesus, what am I looking out for? Any artist that can do 5 pages a week. No, but yeah, I mean, like a lot of what Dee said, right? Like, I really like character driven, stuff with heart. I think anything like ongoing with some like real meat on it, something that you can like really dig into for like really like binge reading or reading over the weekend. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's fair. Scott, what are your thoughts?
We'll see. I mean, these days when I'm like, say on Kickstarter myself looking at books, I tend to gravitate towards series that have been around for a while. Longer running series. Miskatonic High, I just got issue 27. They've all been done through Kickstarter. And the Sentinels from Roy Johnston is on issue 12. So I like to, look for books that have like an established track record. I'm also really curious if you've seen the announcements. Travis Gibb is doing this new imprint where he's bringing the superhero indie comic superhero characters from all these different companies together into this shared universe. A lot of different creators that I think we're we're all familiar with from their individual titles. So I'm really curious to see how that shakes out. So those are kind of the things that I've had my eye on.
All right, cool. Jack, what are your thoughts?
Man, I am so mad that Scott just totally took what I was going to be talking about. I was going to drop the CBR link in there. Like I was posting the comment right here just to let people know on YouTube, but I've been seeing some Image seems to be getting back to its roots a little bit, actually trying to bring out some independent comics that are stretching the limits. I was reading Carlisle's School for Kings this week and actually getting excited about that. But Kickstarter is continually, they give some stinkers, but they also give some really good, interesting books. I'm really excited about seeing more of these books end up on my doorstep soon.
All right, fair enough. Tom, what do you think?
I'm thinking.
What are you thinking? Share it with us, Tom. Just don't
I'm thinking I'm thinking about how far I want to take the answer is what I'm thinking.
Take it as far as you want to take it, sir. There you go.
I'm thinking what I'm looking for is I don't know how to word this. I'm looking for the shift. I'm looking for the sort of awareness that the buying habits of the general public are changing. I've been seeing it for the past few years, and I've had some other talks with some other people who've said the same thing. We've been at cons and they're like, this is what's happening. I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one seeing it. There's a shift in buying habits from, and you won't necessarily notice this immediately because we have this huge surge of, particularly now with these blind bag things and variant covers and, it's kind of crap. But in the general community of comic book buyers, people are moving away from that collectible side of things to a degree to almost sort of like binge watching Netflix, right? They just want a season of something. So trade paperbacks, omnibus books, like something that they can like take home and have a gigantic stack of books to read. Like they want to read stuff. Sort of like what I think what Scott said, like they want something that's been around for a little while that they can really, dive into versus just an endless string of number ones and number twos that don't go anywhere. But when I've been at the cons this year, I've noticed a huge swing from I want those variant covers to I want all those volumes of that book. And I was talking to some of these artists that are, in some cases, they're variant artists. They're like, yeah, man, even at our tables, they're like, well, I like that cover, but how do I get the rest of the books? And they're having to send them like, well, you go over here and this guy's got a book and this guy's got a book, whatever. So I'm just kind of curious to see, and I do know a few creators who have started to go into the sort of production of, as opposed to like, we're going to do 5 issues of something. They're just going to be like, well, here's a 100-page book, and we're just going to put out a 100-page book. And that's what we're going to do. Now, there may still be some variant covers with that 100-page book, but it's not the same as like, floppy variants where they're getting graded and, have this whole different system of the floppy variants. So I'm just kind of watching people, watching the industry, watching creators to see who's sort of catching on to this, who's not, who's still very successful with their variants, who's not, who's, I just feel like there's a shift happening. And so I particularly at the Comic-Con level, the comic convention level, that's kind of where I feel it's really starting. And the great part about that is that when you go to the Comic-Cons, that's where you have really the potential to reach people that maybe have never even really read comics before, or specifically they've never read indie stuff before. They may know Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, but if they're walking through and they see the stuff that's on your table, they're like, what is this? This is not at my store. Like what's going on? What is this thing? So I think we have an opportunity to kind of now refocus for us, as particularly as indie people, and produce content and focus on the content before we're focusing on endless tchotchkes and these kinds of things, because there's a clear shift in the market that is aiming directly. And Marvel and DC, they know this stuff too. You can see all these omnibus books coming out. People are buying these huge 500, 600, 700 page books. They know it too. They see it too. So it's there, but I think that we have an opportunity to sort of be a part of it, take part of it, be in that wave. If you can kind of focus in and kind of drive yourself forward.
All right, cool. Jay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like where everybody's going with the whole reader market concept, because I'm picking up books right now that I haven't even read them yet. I just want them. Right, like, what is it over here? This is Mad Cave, right? They're pumping this out, right? They're pumping out very long ago. They're pumping out their books, and I want to read them. I want to grab them, right? I don't care about the variants. Just give me the next issue. They've been coming out consistently. That's key to keeping me invested in reading this stuff, right? They're coming out on a regular basis. There's this Pastime, which is like a vampire turn of the century baseball book. I think it's from Mad Cave also, has got me. Exquisite Corpses from Image, and we're taking them down with us. They're coming out on a monthly basis, which is weird because it feels like it's coming out faster than most indie books are, right? I forgot what a monthly release schedule was like. So seeing them is that often it's grabbing me. But also, how are people presenting their books, right? Again, I know it's the comic shop, but we got Dynamite has their own little news book. Zdarsky has his comic shop news. How people are presenting their books. What are they trying to do to generate awareness for their books? That has got me interested as well, right? I like the back of the house stuff as much as I like the creative stuff. There's things you can learn from it. Even if you cannot afford to implement the things they do at that scale, if I scale it down, is it something that I can achieve? And would that help me expand my reach? Things like that.
All right, cool. It's funny. Just last weekend, I interviewed one Philip Russert. So one of the things I'm watching out for is the direct market and seeing where it's shaking out. I'm interested in seeing what's going on. I've heard Ben Dunn say in a couple of places that their sales have not only stabilized, but seem to be a little bit better. How long that's going to last, I don't know.
Overall, or just with Philbo?
No, I think it's
because
overall.
they're in Lunar as well. Right.
I think it's overall. I think things have gotten a little bit better, but like I said, I don't know. I haven't spoken to Ben directly about it.
Yeah.
So I think I might have to hit him up for an interview or one-on-one.
Yeah.
But he said overall, and like I said, I'm very interested in seeing what Philip Russert is up, gonna produce, because I think the guy's heart is in the right place. I know a lot of people ask me about what went on, and I think he's a good dude. I think he's trying to do good things, and I think he's gonna do good things. Right. So, I think all of us as independent creators, I think we should, send good wishes to that guy, because I think his heart is in the right place, and I think he's going to do good things. But that's the thing that I'm most interested in, seeing where the direct market shakes out, because I go to Midtown Comics once in a blue moon, maybe once a month, sometimes twice a month, just to look around. And the last time I was there were indie books, but not the way I'm used to seeing them, right? They're not in the quantities that I'm accustomed to seeing them in, because they have a middle. Midtown, they have what?
They got the 5 shelf, like the end cap, right? So the top shelf, the eye level, the one under that is their the
indies, right? And it's a whole row, and it's like a 20-foot wall, right?
Well, which location, dude?
I go to the main one, the one on the one on the west side.
Yeah, 8th Avenue. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So,
there's like a 20-foot wall of books. They got Marvel, DC, Image, and Indies, right? And they all run across these walls. And I'm just not seeing the independent guys, the smaller guys. Like, you'll still see Dark Horse, obviously. You're gonna see Image. You're gonna see all those guys. But I'm not seeing like the really small independent guys in the numbers that I'm used to seeing them in represented. And that's because Diamond is the one that pushed all those books out, and they picked everything up for Diamond.
The one on 8th Avenue has that's that shelf that you're talking about, but all the way at the end, they have that.
Oh yeah, that's right. They have the end. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that the one that you're talking about? That's empty also, because that is where I found like Tom's books is in that section.
Well, that's also their that's like last week's books.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
The main, like when you walk by and you just see the regular shelf, that's like this week's books, and then they'll take all the indie stuff and they'll put it back there, and that's like last week's books.
Okay.
And which is the cool thing. They'll leave this stuff out for weeks and weeks at a time till it clears out. Yeah. So
good.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, listen, man, that's all I got. Jay, it's all you, man.
All right, cool, man. So for anybody who's run a Kickstarter campaign, I don't know if it's the same on Crowdfunder and Indiegogo, but do you guys play Monday morning quarterback? Right? When the campaign is over, do you look at it? Do you compare it to your previous campaigns? And do you try to, I guess, read the tea leaves? Right? Do you try to figure out where you could have done better? What did you succeed on that you didn't expect to succeed on? What took you by surprise? X, Y, and Z. Do you do a recap of your campaign after it's over? After it's over, excuse me.
All right, cool. Braden, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm on my second campaign now, so I'm doing a lot. I did that for Haven for sure, and just in terms of like, what we can improve or even outreach, man. Like everything is getting eyes on a campaign, but especially on my second campaign, Sketch Night, I'm implementing more new things like putting reviews out, getting emailing people to do reviews, stuff like that, and just trying to capture as many people as possible. So when this one ends, we'll see how that fares based off my Haven campaign. So yeah.
All right, cool. Scott, what are your thoughts?
Well, I just finished my 19th campaign, and I do, I look at it as it's going, and I sort of do a little bit of a debrief at the end. A lot of times I don't necessarily find the information super helpful. So, for instance, this last campaign, I had made some tweaks based on what happened in my previous campaign, Quest 4. So when I did Quest 5, I updated a bunch of stuff on the campaign page to try and have a better conversion rate. And I think I did. I definitely got a lot more new backers this time compared to the previous campaign. Where it was a little bit less helpful to try and figure that out is I couldn't figure out where those people were coming from, because when I'm looking at the metrics through Kickstarter, it was just saying they were coming from somewhere else on Kickstarter. So there's really no way for me to affect that. If Kickstarter is sharing my campaigns like through the emails or on the other campaigns you're interested in, that sort of thing, that's all stuff that Kickstarter has control over. So I can't really leverage that information to do any kind of take any action with it. I had a lower return rate. Usually I have a very high rate of returning backers from the previous issues. This time it was definitely down. My last couple campaigns have been down. And again, I'm still trying to figure out if that's just, the economy or other sort of factors that are outside of my control, or if there's something I can do for my next campaign to try and, get my usual backers to return. So, I go through that process, but a lot of times I end up with more questions than I have answers for.
Okay. Yeah, but it's good to have questions, right? Because it makes you investigate more, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Jack, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I don't Monday morning quarterback. I Sunday morning 11:30 quarterback. I'm quarterback.
You pregame it.
Oh yeah, I am constantly looking through the
Cool.
data
Nice.
of Kickstarters. Like, oh, what can I be doing better right now? I like my Kickstarter page is always up, just trying to figure out, okay, what can I do to turn even like my current fans into even bigger fans? And figuring all that out. My return rate, this is my 20th campaign, so I have like a 10% return rate, but still closing in on 100 backers. So it's
Nice.
like, okay, what else can I do to turn so many people that have been there before? Like, what can I do to bring them in? And for me, it just keeps going back to engagement and letting people know once again that, hey, it's the weird guy making magic books. You liked that a few years ago. He's still here. It's nice and quirky.
Very cool.
All right, cool. Dees, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I'm always, after a campaign is ended, trying to figure out how to maximize it and make it better for the next one. I'm kind of in a weird position where I am like we just wrapped up the third campaign, and what I did this time is I actually tried to direct a lot of people to pre-order directly from my website as opposed to Kickstarter. So I've got a store on the website, so I got a lot of traffic that way, and the Kickstarter was lower. So because eventually I'd like to not completely eliminate Kickstarter, but have most of it being direct to consumer through the website. But there's you can get a lot of organic traffic on Kickstarter too, and it's just extra funds. But I really have a hard time. Like, we sell the book well, but for some reason, I have a lot of people who buy the book but wait until it's out to buy it. I have a hard time getting people to the Kickstarter. I feel like, and maybe it's just because Kickstarters always feel like a grind, so maybe it's just that the emotional feeling of it, not reality. But it seems like more work than I'm getting a return for. I do also run into this problem though, where I do stand-up comedy for a living. So as a professional shit talker, I end up getting shadow banned on Meta a lot. So a ton of my posts get very buried also. So I got this last time, the last two campaigns, I was cognizant of that. And I'm like, okay, just for the next 3 months, just don't be a piece of shit online. Like, don't talk shit. Don't say things that is going to make the overlords angry. So leading up to the campaign, I didn't post anything. And after the campaign, I was nice. I played nice for a while. I didn't do that this time. And it seemed like I could feel it on how many eyes I was getting on things I'd post. But I'm always looking for new ways to try to get people to the Kickstarter. I haven't really found what I feel is a good rhythm as far as what really gets new people there, and gets the customers I have to pre-buy on the Kickstarter as opposed to waiting till I've got books in stock either at stores or at conventions or on the online shop.
All right, cool. Braden, what are your thoughts?
Yeah.
Wait. So we
I feel like I already did.
Yeah, we started with you. I'm sorry.
I was like, I could have swore.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, Braden already answered the question. What are you doing? I was throwing you a curveball. There you go. Sorry about that.
It's like, did we just go through a wormhole? Like, what just
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah, I know.
Did I miss a question?
Braden, introduce yourself.
Yeah,
One
exactly.
more time.
Sketch night, guys.
So no, I don't anymore, I should say. I've done 50 campaigns, and in the early days, I would look at it I'd examine it. I'd be like, okay, what about this? What about this? I've done 50 campaigns now, so I feel like I've got myself in a template for the most part, as far as how I do Kickstarters, like how I present, the feed and all that kind of stuff. I don't know that I do make little changes here and there every now and then, just to see if anyone even says anything about it. Oh, I like how you did that. I never get anything about it. I don't pay attention to the analytics anymore. I don't have time for that. There's too much analytics. None of it means anything. It's how much effort and time do you want to put into something versus the return of what you think you're going to get. And I feel like once you've done stuff enough, you've reached a point where your fans, your followers, your readers, whatever, they either want the book or they don't. They'll either come and get it or they won't. And there's not really a lot that you can do to sort of sway their decision. If they don't want it this time, they're just not going to get it. You can't make them do it. So I've just moved my energy elsewhere. I've moved my energy from chasing to just focusing on the creating. I want to make sure that the creating is as good as it possibly can be, so that way, when it's presented, it should be something that is enticing to whoever it is that's looking at it, whether the story is enticing, the design, the covers, whatever it happens to be. It needs to sell itself, because I can't exist on podcasts 24 hours a day, bouncing around trying to be like, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. It's just diminishing returns. So while I love to be on podcasts, and I'm happy to go on particularly new podcasts, because then I am in front of new eyes that I might be able to convert. I feel like when we do the same podcasts with the same people over and over again, we're really just kind of reinforcing our existing people, right? So if coming on this podcast means I get 10 people, those 10 people will probably be on my campaigns each time, assuming that they want the particular book that I do. But I would have to go to Braden's podcast to get a different set of eyeballs, because now I'm in front of his followers and his fans, and so on. And then I might be able to convert a few from over there. But as far as really critiquing it and figuring it out, now there are times that I do experimental campaigns. Like I might do a 24-hour campaign. Did it work? What did they buy? What were they after? I've done 24-hour campaigns. I've done weekend campaigns. I've done hyper specific. I've done just book fairs where I'm just here's everything we have. Tell me what you want. So I do experiments, and then I kind of look at how those experiments, reacted in the context of some of the this is how I do it regularly. So I do kind of look at that. But even in those, it's sort of there's not really anything that I can do anymore to make people come buy my book. You either see it and want it, or you see it and you don't want it. And that's where we're at.
All right, cool. For myself, I mean, it depends on which campaign it is. If it's the Oswald Chronicles, I probably don't look at it as much. But when it comes down to the stuff that I'm doing with the adult covers, with the good girl art, bad girl art, whatever, adult theme covers, those I actually take a very hard look at. And I actually do hard math on how much each cover generated, right? So I sit down and I'm like, okay, is this artist worth having on my staff? You understand? Is this artist worth having on my staff? Did this artist cover their costs on this particular image? So on and so forth. You understand? And those are the same numbers that I run through when I do those. With Oswald, that's my passion project. So, however much I get kicked in the guts for that one, it's just I'm getting kicked in the guts for it. That is what it is. But those other projects with those artists, right? I'm looking to make a little extra revenue on it, right? So I have to go through that process. And it is fascinating to see which covers sell more, which covers sell less, which covers don't do any business, because sometimes it happens. You get them, you just do nothing, right? I get, I can have one artist that charge me $250 and I might break even on it. Sometimes I'll double it. I have another person, they'll do $100 cover and friggin' make 10 times that amount on that one piece. And then I have someone who's really expensive, but they cover their cost 5 times over, right? So it just depends, who the artist is and how it goes down. So yeah, so those are the types of numbers I usually run over. So yeah, that's what I got. So Jay, how do you run it down, bro?
I'm sorry. What was the question?
It's your question.
Oh shit. I'm sorry. Trying to take care of something on the side. I forgot I was on that I said. Yeah, no, I definitely go over my stuff. But I'm listening to what everybody says, see if there's anything that I can utilize for how I go over a post-campaign routine.
All right, cool. That's all you got?
Yeah, sorry. a little lost for a moment here.
Today has been a day, gentlemen. Today has been a day. Tom, you got a question?
Yeah, so this is a little more abstract. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. But something came up when I was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about a book that I wrote where I actively made a choice to sort of skirt what I believed were the expectations of the book. Like I knew like the audience, the readers of the book were going to expect something to exist within the context of the book. And I was like, no, that we're going to do it a different way. I'm going to prove to you that I can do this a different way and it'll still be good. You guys have any sort of like story like that where you're like, I'm going to make something, but I'm going to do it my way and it's not going to be what the audience expects? Or in a different sort of terminology, did you ever have sort of something that put a chip on your shoulder that you were like, all right, I'm going to prove you wrong, with whatever it is that you're creating, and did you prove them wrong?
All right, Scott, you're up.
Well, sort of, but I don't have the answer for how it worked because it was just with my last issue, Crime Busters #7. My series Crime Busters is kind of like a ode to like Scooby-Doo or Three Investigators, like teen detective stories. And so I do a lot of things with haunted houses and ghosts and things like that. And this issue has Dracula in it. And so I played that up a little bit sort of on the cover. I know that people are expecting it to be like a classic Dracula story, but I'm hoping that they're going to go along with what I actually wrote because I do sort of subvert some of these expectations in previous issues. And this time around, I had a very different sort of take on what the character of Dracula would be. And I'm not sure how that's going to land. I know that there's a certain subsection where they're looking for the classics because it is sort of I use a lot of public domain characters and there are people that are looking for that sort of classic feel. And I don't know how they're going to respond when they actually read what I put in because it's a totally different take that I don't think delivers on that set of expectations at all. But I just mailed that out last week. So I haven't yet got the feedback from my readers yet, whether they are going to go along with it or not. My last issue of Quest, I tried a different art style, which I'm not sure that was a good idea, but I have, it's an epic fantasy series. And so I have sort of a more realistic, Conan sort of style of art usually. Last time I went with a different artist for this one sort of issue that was kind of like a change of pace issue. And we did art that was more sort of like cartoony, like an animated, like cartoon style art, which I thought some people might like because it's sort of D&D inspired. So for people that like the cartoon back in the 80s, maybe they would dig that vibe. And I don't know if there's a correlation, but my backer count from issue 4 to 5 dropped by about 25%. So I have a feeling that the change in art style didn't really resonate with people, but it was, a creative experiment that I wanted to try, even though I knew that it wasn't what people were necessarily going to be expecting based on what I did in the previous issues.
All right, cool. Jack, what are your thoughts?
Oh, so when it comes to books that everyone said it isn't going to work, and then you said screw it, I'm getting that's what Tom was talking about. So this is the book that made me proud and angry enough to try. I was working on a master's in church and the arts, and I went up to my school of theology and said, you know what, I want to do an interfaith anthology so we can actually start engaging these questions, not just Christians telling people they're wrong and Jews telling people they're wrong and da 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 da. But we're all going to come together and actually celebrate our differences. And the school said that's a great idea for you to do on your own time. So I ended up producing and editing 3 different interfaith anthologies, raising over $15,000. Not just to prove them wrong, but also to bring that sort of thing to life. So when you said that, I'm like, yeah, this is my, you know what? We're going to do this even better than you thought it was possible.
All right. Cool. Dees, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I'm never writing for an audience. I'm writing books I love and stories I want to tell, and hoping it resonates with an audience. I mean, I'm not writing to sell anything. I'm writing because I want to tell this story, and I want it to be genuine, and then the people who it connects with will connect to it, So I don't have ever like an expectation of these people. I'm writing this because I think these people will buy it, because I'm not gonna. I just wouldn't even be interested in writing that, because it's not fulfilling for me creatively, So, and as far as kind of, proving someone wrong, or writing with a chip on my shoulder, I guess. I don't know. I'm the subject matter in the book is a little dark and complicated. It delves around suicide a lot and depression, mental illness. So it's tough topics. It's not something that everyone is ready to jump on board with. I was at a convention in the Bible Belt a couple months ago, and it was tough to pitch that book to people who were, on Sunday afternoon, who just left church and were coming to the comic book convention. And, you start talking about suicide, mental illness and stuff. And they're like, yeah, maybe thanks. This is maybe not for me, which is fine, And then there's some people that are open enough to be like, hey, yeah, that's something I'm interested in being willing to go down that road, Yeah. But the way I write, I want to write stories that I like, that I want to tell, that I think are important. And, I don't always answer all the questions people want answered. To me, I always say, the Clone Wars sounded way more interesting when it was just a thing Obi-Wan said. And then we got the movie and you're like, oh, this fucking sucks. We didn't need this. I wish I would have just imagined whatever I was imagining as a kid when Obi-Wan threw away the line about the Clone Wars was way cooler than that piece of shit movie we got. So sometimes less is more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with that.
That's fair. Braden, what are your thoughts?
I feel like with kind of what I'm doing now with the superhero stuff, I really wanted to tell like character stories wrapped up in a superhero setting, and I think the way I'm going about it I have like 2 anchor series being like Haven and Sketch Night, and then like 2 one-shots from like different writers that I take on to flesh out the city. I'm not interested in doing like a big universe, but kind of building and expanding on the city so that when you read Haven and Sketch Night and these one shots and get the Rook City volume for when everything's collected, you see like the story of the city change as the stories go on. So like the people in it are going to be very different from issue 1 to like issue 12 of how the city feels about enhanced, or how the city feels about people with powers. And I tend to go, I guess, faster with production, which has been people have just been saying like keep a steady pace or whatever. I'm giving it a go and seeing how it goes, so hopefully it works out.
All right, cool. Hold on. Before the three of us answer this question, I want to pull up.
Braden.
Yep, because Braden has a hard stop at
Yeah.
8:30 because he has some to take care of. So I want to bring him up.
Appreciate it.
Go ahead.
Do you want me to run this video real quick?
You can if you have time, for sure.
How long is it?
I think it's like a minute.
Oh,
Eight.
a minute is good.
Sketch night here. Just trying to make the city safer one sketch at a time. I can't erase the bad in the world, but I can sketch something good. You know, there is something about this feeling flying through my city without a care in the world. What do you got for me today, Rook City?
All right, cool.
Yeah, cool.
I like it.
Yeah, thank
Very
you, thank you. My fiance did that one. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so Sketch Night follows William Wilds. So quick there. The superheroes in my world are called Enhanced. They're like mutants from X-Men. The people of Rook City despise them for kind of their dangerous abilities. And yeah, so the Sketch Night follows William Wilds as he navigates high school. He takes on the Devil Syndicate there, and really, I wanted this story to be about themes of fear, of acceptance, of being afraid of what the people closest to us would feel if they knew the stuff that we hide. And for William, it's being an Enhanced. There's a palpable fear in the city for Enhanced, so he's afraid of how his friends react to him when they find out. And then just rewards.
Is this a one shot?
No.
Or are you doing a limited series?
Yeah, so ongoing. Haven and Sketch Night are both going to be 12 issues.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna have one shots. I just announced Travis Gibb is gonna be doing a one shot for Rook City for like District 2 is what I like to say, to kind of expand the city and kind of give you. I always like to say that when you have like Spider-Man and Daredevil, you always ask why Spider-Man didn't help out Daredevil during this one thing, right? And so I want to showcase what other heroes are kind of doing in the city as the events of this go on.
Nice.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds nice. So, all right. Well, this is the first issue. Now, what type of publishing schedule are you looking at? You looking at like twice a year, 3 times a year, 4 times a year? What are you looking at?
So right now with the artist, he's doing a one shot for me. After that, we're gonna be doing 4 pages a week. So pretty consistently. I don't want to say probably like a month and a half, 2 months, kind of per Kickstarter. I don't want to overpromise anything, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now, and yeah, it'll be coming out consistently. I really want to get this stuff out there in a way that I feel like doing 12 issues, if you do it 4 times a year, that'll take me 3 years to do.
Mhm.
I'm looking for like a year and a half to a year kind of thing.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, I mean, the book looks good. I mean, your
Thank
artist is really
Thank
hot. Is really good artist.
Yeah.
You got 61 back. You got 21 days. 62% there. So I mean, I don't think you're gonna have an issue making it. But you know, I know how it is. You got a little
Yeah.
work to do, but you'll make it.
Pushing for sure. Yeah,
Push and push.
absolutely.
You got to keep the hustle up. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it, brother.
Absolutely.
That's
Very
it.
nice. Very nice. All right. All right. Cool. So, Jay, do you want to answer the question?
Answer, yeah. I got a big fucking chip on my shoulder. Big fucking chip. You know, I've I got a hell of a catalog, right? I've completed over 40 different issues, right? Between 6 different series. They're not all ongoing series, right? There've been mini series or arcs, but I've been able to complete a story from beginning to end multiple times over. Been able to fulfill those books, right? So I got one hell of a fucking credit history, along with actually put together a fucking convention in New York City as a promoter in Brooklyn, New York. We had over 7,000 people attend over the weekend, right? I have some major names. I had some celebrities, whatever you want to call them, right? But we had people in the fucking door. We built a goddamn great convention. I'm about to drop toys, right? Whether they fulfill or not, I was able to get to that point, right? Managing my money, as hard as it is in this industry, right? And because we all eat with our fucking eyes. Let's be honest here, right? Like, oh my God, look at that artist. He's doing that great stuff. Can we get him to do work with him? Everybody reaches out. Everybody does that, right? Everybody overspends. I don't care who the fuck you are. Everybody overspends, all right? All the while maintaining a healthy marriage, taking care of my family, and building a job that has me with a pension that I can retire from in 4 years. Not many people can fucking do that and produce the catalog that I've produced. This is not a flex. This is foundation. All right. This is something that I utilize when I have fucking dark days to look back on and say, okay, look at what I've done. Doesn't matter what the fuck anybody says about me and my work and what I can do or what my work ethic is. Look at all of that shit. Look at every little fucking bit of it. Fuck that. You can keep doing what you want to do and tell the stories you want to tell, no matter fucking what. Plain and simple. Sorry.
You all right, Jay? You need a hug?
I need a fucking another beer. That's what I need right now. I need a fucking beer, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro? This is not an easy gig. It's not an easy gig. But look at everybody who's here, right? You fucking done it. Pat yourself in the back every once in a while. Good shit. Whether it's 1 book, 2 books, 20 fucking books. Pat yourself on the fucking back because it's not easy, right? Trying to maintain a relationship with other creators and trying to spin all the plates that you can. You're going to drop some. Plain and simple. It's the nature of this whole game, right? Doesn't matter how many you fucking drop. So only keep spinning more.
All right. All right.
Rosario's like the John Cena of the comic book, indie industry here.
Yeah.
What? Because I got the John Cena bald spot.
Well, I mean, you put that on yourself. I was talking about your promos. You just dropped a John Cena promo right there.
Sunday,
true, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's people that come in here and people try to knock you and they try to talk a fucking big game that will never get as far as we've got. I don't give a fuck if you've done. You know what? You could call me the Roger motherfucking Corman of comic books. Plain and simple, right? I'm not a barn burner. My shit is not making $20,000 on fucking release. No, I'm a grinder. But he still made his fucking movies.
Roger Corman was a very rich man by the time he died. He was a very rich man.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. But you know what? He wasn't critically acclaimed, bro. He got out there. He did it. He fucking did it. And you guys are doing it too. Way to fucking be. Don't forget to pat yourself in the fucking back, man. Good shit.
All right. We're going to do something a little different. Before I answer the question, we're going to go on a little quest time. All right. So, Scott, you want me to play this video?
Yeah, sure. I think it's only like 30 seconds long.
All right, cool. So Scott, you're in what is it? Late pledges?
Yeah, we're in late pledges. I actually just finished the book. The book's 100% done about 2 days ago. So it's currently being proofread and then it'll be sent out. So I'm only going to have late pledges open probably for another week or so, but there's still time to get it. If you back digitally, you'll probably get your copy within the next week or so. So this is issue 5. All 5 issues available. I also do an RPG edition. It's an epic fantasy series. It's inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. So the RPG edition has a variant cover that looks like a D&D module cover, but it also has bonus pages in the back, gaming material where you can actually play the module of the issue you just read. So if you play in your home game, you can play through the whole story after you finish reading the comic. And that's proven to be the most popular sort of option that I have. But yeah, it's my love letter to Dungeons and Dragons and epic fantasy and everything like that. That's the RPG edition there. I've got so again, this is issue 5. I've already got the art mostly finished for issues 6 and 7, and I'm also going to do an issue 0 that's like a new prologue.
Cool.
Plus, we'll be doing the trade collecting issues 0 through 6 probably at the end of next year. So a lot of stuff coming up with Quest. I just love fantasy. I've always sort of loved the genre. Warlord and Conan were some of the first comics I ever read. So I always try and make stuff that I want to read myself. And so this is kind of emblematic of that. I just, whatever that I thought is cool about fantasy, I've put it into the comics. You can see some of the variants there. I've got the Bronze Age variant, stuff like that. And my 5th anniversary variants there you scroll by. It's just all the stuff that I love about comics and fantasy.
All right, cool. Now you said you got up to issue 7. Is this like an ongoing, or is this like like a 12-issue limited series?
No, it's ongoing. It's we'll see how long it goes, but it's going to be it's called Quest for a reason. We're on a quest to get to the end of the series, so I think it's going to be at least 25 issues. Okay. Assuming I live that long. I'm just love making it. Not love making, that's something totally different, but I love making this comic.
Right.
I just have got a lot of characters. We're really starting to dig in a little into some of their backstories as well. So there's a lot of stories to tell here.
All right, cool. It was looking good. I mean, well, obviously the campaign succeeded. You made your goal, and you did pretty good. So late pledges. So go check it out, everybody. It looks like it's an awesome book. You like to play Dungeons and Dragons? This is your spot, man. This is nice. All right, cool. Very nice.
Thank you.
How long are you going to keep the late pledges open for? Are you just going to leave them indefinitely, or are you just going
to? They're probably just for another week or so. I'd like to leave them open as long as I can, but I've noticed I've had a couple previous ones where Kickstarter actually closed them at a certain point for whatever reason. So I'll probably close it once I send it to the printer because I don't do very big print runs.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to lock in like how many copies I'm going to be printing. So I'll probably close at least the physical versions in about a week. I might leave the PDF, the digital versions, there's no limit to how many I can send out for that. So I might leave those available if Kickstarter lets me.
Okay. All right, cool. Listen, good looking book. Very nice.
Thanks.
Very nice. Very nice. So, all right. So go check it out while you still got a chance, folks. Go pick up a copy. All right. So let me answer this question for you guys. So to answer Tom's question, yes, I have done something along those lines. I have had I had written a short story, right? And it was a prose short story at the time. And my editor at the time, or my friend who works as my editor, he was like, bro, you cannot end a short story at a cliffhanger. And I was just like, yes, I can. And then what I had done is I had just written the next story that rolls right into it or whatever. But, you know, and it worked, right? Because I had dropped the shoe for the next story at the beginning of this story, of the first story, right? So I had already dropped the clues. I had set the baseball bat on the mantle, and I had just, you know, flowed through the other story, through the story that I was running, and then I left it at a cliffhanger to move on to this next story, which was a completely different short story in and of itself. Like, you could read them independently, and one has nothing to do with the other, except that I set up the second short story in that first short story. And he was like, you can't do that. And I was like, I know I'm breaking a bunch of rules, but, you know, rules are meant to be broken. So I did it. It worked. And, you know, there it is. So, Tom.
So I have chips on my shoulder, and I have the sort of skirting expectations thing. The first sort of chip, which has sort of drifted away now that I've been doing this for 15 years, was when I started. I pitched my first book, Penny for Your Soul, to half dozen publishers. You know, doing it the way you're supposed to do it. Hey, here's my book. Come tell me, at least tell me no. Tell me that you suck. Tell me something, whatever. I got precisely zero response from any of those publishers. I didn't even get a no. I just got ignored. And so the chip was squarely formed as a, all right, fuck you. Then I'm going to do this by myself. And flash forward 15 years later, here I am. I've worked with and been published by Aspen Comics. I've worked and written for Dynamite Comics. I have now moved my books to Antarctic Press. They're publishing my stuff now for a third time, and the books are still selling. So that chip is more or less taken care of at this point. I've proven that I can do what I want to do within my creations. The other chip, which is still right there, because
Tom, hold on. Before you get to your second chip, I want you to get your chip.
Yeah.
Brayden, before you go, because I know you got to leave in a couple minutes. Let us know where we can find you and your work, sir.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Rook City Universe on all socials, Facebook, Instagram. Sketch Night Kickstarter campaign. Go back it if you like superheroes and or want to support me. Yeah, that's me, guys. Super appreciate you. Thank you for having me on. And yeah, have a great show, guys.
Take it easy, man. So, Tom, I'm sorry. Please continue.
That's all right. So I'm not going to name this guy because fuck him. But
so what was his name?
Yeah, so his name's Jay Rose. So in my early days, before I had done anything at all, other than I was in the design phase for a lot of stuff, and I had some critter designs and stuff, there was a publisher. The guy who ran this publishing house put out a book that completely crapped the bed, and he went on Facebook and basically was like, what is it that you guys want from us? Why aren't you buying our books? What is wrong with this? Blah, 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 blah. And so I answered him. I said, people want a book that doesn't look like it was drawn by your 8-year-old cousin. They want books that, you know, have a quality inside that matches some of the covers that you produce on the outside. They want something inside the book that matches what the IP is, blah, 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 blah. So we proceeded to have a back and forth on Facebook on this thread for days, and I had produced nothing. I just gave him the answer that he clearly didn't want. And so he said, well, what is it that you think you're doing that's so good? And I said, nothing. I haven't done anything yet, but I had some design stuff for Critter posted on a website somewhere. And I said, this is just what I'm working on. This is where it's going. And I showed him I posted the thing on the thread, on his thread. Here's Critter. This is what we're working on. He came back and destroyed me on this thread, yelling at me about, this is some of the most, you know, amateur work, blah, 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 design. This will not ever sell, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you understand that this is just a design, right? This is not the book. There's nothing here but a design that we're working on. So, sir, 15 years later, Critter is still here. Critter is still selling. Critter's been sold by 3 different publishers. Critter has action figures. Critter is expanding into the Critterverse in 2027. So, sir, fuck you.
Yeah.
That's the chip.
Yeah,
And
with that.
and it will stay there forever for that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the chip. And then the other thing that came up in the podcast that I kind of thought back on this when I was talking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember doing this. Was I do my Legend of Oz, my Wicked West, Wizard of Oz Western story. And after we did our first 6-issue miniseries, we restarted the book at a new number 1 for the ongoing series. And at the end of my book, you know, Dorothy, of course, beats the witch, and you know, she's where she is. But as I was starting to write the new story, I had basically 2 choices. I was like, well, I can keep this sort of Dorothy heavy-ish, like every other freaking Oz thing on the planet. Like all they can do is write Dorothy stories. Or I can remove her from the story, focus on the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, the Lion, these other characters, and prove that I can write the Wizard of Oz without Dorothy. And that's what I did. So in the next 12 issues of the book, Dorothy appeared 2 times in basically 1-page increments of those things, just to kind of give an indication of like, she's over here, she's doing a thing. But the main story was Jack Pumpkinhead and Tip and, you know, all this other stuff and Glinda, to get to the point where we did bring Dorothy back. And we made it a big deal that we brought her back, and it was like, oh shit, this is what she's been doing. Oh my God. And then it became a big deal as we pushed forward. So that was that sort of like, and I realized that I had made that conscious decision to not do it the way that, you know, anybody else that does Oz does it. I wanted a different sort of, you know, period of time, and it worked. Our sales never dripped off. It worked just fine.
All right, cool. Very nice, very nice. Before I ask my next question, like I said, we're doing something a little different today. You know, we want to talk about some legends. All right, so
no play in the video. No play in the video. It is just me.
oh, okay, all right. So Jack, tell us, what do we got here, sir?
So we got issue 6 of Legends of the Realm. This is the end of the Watcher Saga arc. Camridian has traveled the length and breadth of the kingdom of Danisfire looking for new magic to help his king. He has promised a miracle, and in this issue, he's got to deliver. He's taken on a floating city, Stone Guardian, battled pirates, and a fiery sorceress, climbed the Mountain of Shadow. And now he wants to see, is it all worth it?
All right, cool. So this is what is it? Is this the first arc in a longer story?
That is correct. This is the first arc. This is my first completed arc in 10 years of working in comics and indie publishing. So really excited about that.
All right, cool. Now, when you first came up with this concept, like what was it that was driving you?
So with Legends of the Realm, the first concept was what makes a hero or a villain? Is it their actions? Is it their motivations? Or is it really who's telling the story? Because so often just how you tell a story makes people change their opinions on who's actually the star of the show. We can't. My artist and I had a graphic novella, but it was so popular we started telling the full bigger story of Camridian. And this first part is, let's let him actually explore this world and see what's going on. And so every issue, 1 through 5, was him seeing the world as it is. And issue 6 ties it all together with the Watchtower being completed.
Okay, cool. And all right, Nice. Where do is it the same artist through the entire 6 issues?
Absolutely. Evan Scale,
Mhm.
Living in Greece being absolutely wonderful. So many of there were a few times where I was like, you know what? Here's 3 pages. Here's the broad strokes of what happens. Go play. And he was like, perfect.
Nice. Okay, cool. How long have you been working with him?
This is now going on 6-7 years.
Okay, cool. Well, you got another 19 days. You got 97 backers. You're probably about 47% to your goal, somewhere in that area, or 45%.
Something like that.
Yep.
Just got 2 new backers while we've been on stream, so thank you for that.
All right, cool. Listen, that's what we're trying to do here, right? So check it out. Legends of the Realm 1 through 6. Nice looking book, excellent looking book, great looking book. So go check it out. And let me tell you something. Jack's a great guy, and I don't say that lightly. All right. So very nice.
I met JD for the first time. I want to say, God, this will take you back, JD. It was massive in Worcester.
Oh wow, yeah, Worcester. Oh yeah, that was a while ago.
That was a show that hasn't been going on for about 8 years or so.
Yeah.
But being able to just say that, I got a blitz, but thank you guys so much.
No problem. All right, so yeah, man, great. Go check out his book. Very nice. All right,
Take
so
care.
Jack, you got to go.
Yes.
All right, so let everybody know where they can find you and your work, sir.
So you can, once again, I'm going to post the link for this in the comments. We've got just under 20 days left, so you can totally check us out at the link below. You can also find us at Arcane Industries and on Facebook all the time. Thank you again, Michael. Thank you, JD. I hope everyone has a wonderful Labor Day and take care.
All right, cool. Have a good one. All right, take care, Jack. All right, we're down another one. Damn, look at this. We're just losing people like flies.
Go ahead.
It's crazy. All right, so look, I got a softball question for everybody. It's funny. I was on Jay's show on Friday. We were having a good time talking about stuff, and one of the things that came up was
Laser blast? Is this the laser blast question?
Yes, laser blast. No. As a matter of fact, what we should do is we should workshop the laser blast for the next hour. Right?
You know what we should? Fuck it. Let's go for it, bro. Let's do it.
So the question is this: so on Jay's show, something had come up with runs, right? And I had mentioned Daredevil was one of my favorite runs, and I feel it's an excellent run, right? So, gentlemen, if you can tell me 2 or 3 runs that you feel for yourselves are some of the greatest runs you've ever read for yourself. Obviously, these are your opinions, right? And if you can try to include one indie run, one, if you can try. If you can't do it, that's fine, because I know it's hard. I mean, we've all read the classic Marvel and DC stuff, so it's easier with those guys. But if you can include one indie one, would appreciate it. Only because of where we're at, all right? So, Dees, we'll start with you.
Okay. Number one, this is my all-time favorite comic book run ever, is Joe Casey's run on Wildcats.
Oh, wow.
So he actually wrote like Wildcats Volume 2. He wrote from issue number 5 till the end of that, which is like number 28, I think. And then he wrote all of Wildcats version 3.0, they called it. And it is it's the best comic books I've ever read, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It's so funny when you go back and read it. Joe Casey's one of my favorite writers. He's brilliant. He's very subversive with great social commentary and just ahead of his time with some of his ideas. If you go back and read some of the stuff he was writing in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was like almost prophetic in looking into at, our modern time technology and how just capitalism and politics kind of blend together to become corporations and this one conglomerate, so that's all-time number one with a bullet, favorite run of all time. Ed Brubaker's Sleeper, another great one. That's probably another favorite one of mine. Ed Brubaker to me is probably has the highest hit percentage for me out of any comic book writer there is. He's a guy that rarely misses, if ever, in my opinion. I can't think of anything he's written that I didn't enjoy. There wasn't like a 7 to a 10,
Mm-hmm.
like I like other writers have done 10s, but they've also done 4s,
Yeah.
And then another kind of wild card that I don't think gets enough love is Sam Keith's The Max. Is one of my favorite comic books of all time too. I mean, it's just a masterclass on mental illness, trauma, PTSD, how people deal with, and just kind of psychology in general. At least the first 25 issues after Messner Loebs leaves, Keith kind of lost the plot a little bit and kind of lost interest in the book of his own admission. But I mean, that first 25 issues is just, I mean, it's brilliant.
All right, cool. Scott, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, my favorite run of all time is Sandman Mystery Theater. The whole run, number 1 to 70. To me, it's just it. I've read a lot of comics, and that's just the top of the line for me. The character work, the relationship stuff, the structure, the story structure, the way the whole series is structured. So that's just top for me. There's a lot of indie books that I love that are really important to me. I would say that a book that I read when I was a kid, when I was first getting into comics, that was a huge influence on me was ElfQuest, the original ElfQuest series. Those first 20 issue series when they were self-publishing the book, and for me that story still holds up. It's fantastic. Those are the two that I would say. The Sandman Mystery Theater, if you haven't read it, if you like superhero stuff or Golden Age DC stuff, it's a must read as far as I'm concerned. And of course Matt Wagner wrote it, and he's a big indie guy with the Mage book and all that stuff. But yeah, that's really my top book.
He had a co-writer though? Was it Peter Milligan?
It was Stephen T. Siegel.
Oh, okay, right. Because I remember he had a co-writer.
Yeah, and Matt Wagner eventually left the book, and Siegel did the last, I would say, 10 issues solo.
Wrapped it.
Yeah.
Did Guy Davis make it all the way to the end? I don't even remember.
Yes and no. He didn't do every arc,
right?
But he consistently did every other arc until the end of the book. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Cool. Tom, what are your thoughts?
The thing that kind of is always at the top for me, not even because it was the best thing ever, but it was really early in my comic book journey, was the X-Men's Mutant Massacre. It was something that was so holy shit. They're offing people and breaking, crucifying Angel to the wall and breaking it. I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is a comic book. It really took me into comics really hardcore, really fast. And I was like, God damn. All right, this is what a comic book is. Give me more of this. So Mutant Massacre has always stuck with me as just kind of a moment in time that probably we'll never have again, because now every time something happens, any sort of big event happens, it's already leaked. We already know what's happening. It's just oh yeah, this is this and this is this and this, and then nothing comes out of it anyway. Everything always gets retconned out and rebooted. And so we'll probably never have another moment in mainstream stuff like Mutant Massacre was at that point. Other than that, ElfQuest was going to be one of the ones that I said for sure. ElfQuest is perfect. The original Quest is perfect. That was my first ever indie book. And I got that at Jeppy's Comics. I used to go to the Inner Harbor in Baltimore. So I bought, so Jeppy, obviously he had a nice comic shop there. This is well before Diamond existed. And he had all the indie stuff. He had all the regular stuff. And I was like, what the fuck is ElfQuest? I don't know what this is. And they had these big old, so the originals were like magazines and they were black and white. But then they did these, when they did the trade paperbacks, the collected editions, they were still magazine size, but they were in color. And so I picked up all of those things. And they were in color. I was like, oh, this is good. Because at the time I was a dumb kid and I didn't understand why you wouldn't make a comic book in color. Like, I don't understand why this is black and white. Get this away from me. And now I go back and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I can look at Wendy's art, without the color. Like, give me that. I want that now. So ElfQuest, yeah. Also, there are portions of Invincible that I think are really, really good, really clever, really unique within the superhero space. For those that don't know, there's a character called Dinosaurus, which I think is amazing. He's supposed to be in the next season, so get ready if you're watching the TV show. Dinosaurus period was really good. So there's a lot of Invincible's not perfect through its 25 volumes, but it has some really nice peaks that are really good. And then the other one that I really doesn't get, and I know why it doesn't get enough attention, except from a specific crowd, is Stephen Sedgwick's Sunstone. Sunstone is an unbelievable. People use the term masterclass all the time for things, and this to me is a masterclass in characterization and dialogue. Within the context of reality. These are two real people. It's not like science fiction or whatever. So the way that he writes these characters is just, it pisses me off. Because every time he puts out a new book and I read it, I'm like, fuck you, man. Now I have to like level myself up again because this is too good. But I like it. I take it as a challenge, and it makes me see things in different ways. I always tag him too. He never messages me back, but I always tag him. Damn you, Steven. This is too good again. But Sunstone is an amazing book. That's the stuff that kind of pops up at the top of my head.
All right, cool. All right, so Jake, just give me a moment.
Yep.
Scott, you said you had to go, so just please let everybody know where they can find you in your work.
Sure, yeah. You can find me at crimebustercomics.com. I'm here on YouTube as the Classic Comic Collector. You can come see me talk about comics there. I'm on Instagram and TikTok. Technically, it's _CrimeBusters. You can go to questcomicbook.com. That'll take you that'll just redirect you to the Quest Kickstarter. And also, if you look for me on Kickstarter, I've got the pre-launch page for Cthulhu vs. Uncle Sam. Number 3 is currently up, and that should be launching in October.
Nice. All right, cool. All right, well, Scott, it was nice having you on.
Thanks so much for having me. Good to see everyone again.
Yeah, when your next one comes out, let me know.
Will do. Thanks so much.
All right. No problem. Take it easy.
Bye.
All right, bye. And all right, and then there were 4. Very nice.
4 little superheroes
Survive
in the sun.
Now,
Sorry.
Hold on, Jay. Before we have you answer that question, we got to kill Stan. Dees, do you want me to play this video?
Yeah.
All right, very nice. I like that video.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So obviously you're in late pledges, right?
Yep.
All right, cool.
And
So
again, you can do late pledges on the Kickstarter. It is available for pre-order just directly from our website also.
All right, cool. So talk to me. What are we looking at?
Yeah, this is pretty similar rewards and everything we've done on the past. We do a standard cover, we do a variant cover, and then we do a limited edition where we print only 25 of limited cover there. And then when we go to retail, we'll do a foil edition also. Yeah, this is number 3. We're into following Stan's story, hoping trying to figure out he's in possession of an item. He's a vigilante that wants to end his own life. He's just a guy that wants to end his own life, so he decides to do it through vigilantism. It's kind of a suicidal ride through a vigilante's last stand. Like I said, really, it's more of a character piece of one man's journey of personal loss, trauma, and kind of the crazy things we do when we feel like we have nothing left to live for. So we kind of meet him a couple weeks into his journey. He ends up in possession of something that the local crime syndicate wants back, and that kind of propels the story.
All right, cool. Now, how many issues is the entire series?
10 issues.
10 issues. Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Now, all right, obviously this is issue 3.
Yep.
Now, what type of frequency are you looking at? Biannually?
We're getting them about every 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're trying to go. We're gonna do this one. Number 3 is about to come out, and then we're aiming to do at least 4 in 2026. It just kind of depends on if the trajectory of the way things are going, we might be able to crank out an extra issue, or there's an anthology I'm working on too that we might do instead of doing 5 issues next year.
All right.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate you.
I guess Michael, back to you. Oh, yeah.
Michael is a huge indie supporter, man.
Yes, he is.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Hopefully you'll enjoy the book. I think it's got, if you're willing to dive into it and chew it up, there's a lot there.
All right, very nice. Now, what made you want to do this type of story?
Well, to be frank, specifically, I've written a bunch of scripts over the years and pursued a couple different things that just never really went the direction I wanted. And finally, I started writing this in May of 2020. So in January of 2020, another comedian, my best friend, actually took his own life. And then, we rolled into COVID, which was a disaster for everyone in no matter how you look at it. And I just watched a lot of people's lives kind of crumble, whether physically, financially, spiritually, mentally, in every way you can imagine, people were kind of, losing it. So I had suicide on my mind. It made me think about what people, what you could really do, what you would do if you really felt at your most desperate, and like you had nothing left to live for. So I just kind of kept pushing that idea as far as I could and thinking about what that might look like, and found a way to tell that story with, through the avatar of a vigilante. So, that's just the delivery system. The real story is him and what he's going through. People they think they're reading a crime noir, then they're going to realize they're just stuck in this crazy guy's head, or not crazy, but going through it, guy.
Gotcha. All right, cool. I mean, listen, man, it sounds great. I mean, you already succeeded to, obviously the book's going to come out, so everybody go check this out. You got it. How long are you going to leave it open for, the late pledges?
Probably a couple weeks at least. I mean, I usually kind of leave them open indefinitely and feel it out. I mean, I left the first one open for like 2 months and was still getting stuff months later. So, probably before I launch the next one, I'll close it for sure. But I like I said, probably won't launch the next one until probably February, because I don't want to do anything in the holidays. But I always have the book done or about done when we run the Kickstarter. The goal is to, when the Kickstarter ends, the book should be about finished production, so we can go right to print within a couple weeks of the Kickstarter wrapping up and get the books in people's hands in about a month.
All right. Sounds good, brother. I mean, looks good. Like I said, you've already funded, so you're good to go. And I mean, listen, everybody, just jump on. It's a great looking book with a really, really interesting, topic. I think this is There's one to look out for. I like it.
Oh yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you.
All right, Jay, you got the question.
Yeah. So Mark Grunwald's Captain America run and Matt Wagner's Mage pretty much informed my whole Shield of the Interceptor series, right? You got a shield slinger and you've got a different spin on the Arthurian legend, right? The other piece of that triangle would have been the Gargoyles TV show. The way they handled, Avalon and stuff like that. So those are my two. And then wow, this is a tough one because I'm going with what I was grabbing as a kid, and the Jim Starlin, Ron Lim Silver Surfer series. Right? It wasn't the entire run. I think Ron Lim took over 4 or 5, something like that. He wasn't in the first couple of issues. I remember as a kid in Puerto Rico picking those up along with the Captain America stuff, right there in the pharmacy. I think it was a Walgreens. And that was it for me, man. Silver Surfer was majestic under Ron's illustrations. He was powerful. He was bold, man. He was somebody you didn't want to mess with. And, Jim Starlin going cosmic was just shit. But then Matt Wagner, I didn't know he did Sandman Mystery Theater. Matt Wagner's Mage was like blue collar hero at his finest, right? It was, he was King Arthur with a baseball bat. You don't get more blue collar than that. And Captain America, man, in the 80s, Captain America was somebody else. Captain America was not the Chris Evans Cap that we see in the MCU, right? Mm-hmm. He was Easy Rider Cap. He was living out of a van with the motorcycle in the back, and he was going state to state, right? The letters column was called American Graffiti.
Was it still Steve Rogers?
It was Steve Rogers. Yeah, it was Steve Rogers. He was a comic artist, right? His girlfriend was a young Jewish lawyer.
No. He wasn't a comic book artist. He was drawing himself. He was drawing Captain America comics.
Okay. I just remember that was an easy way for him to get around, was hide the shield in the art carrying case. His girlfriend was Bernie. I was going to say Bernie Wrightson. But a young Jewish lawyer, right? In New York City. It was a shit. And then you tie in the part that really gets me, right? So my grandmother was one of my grandmothers was Afro-Latina. And I remember picking up Captain America 334. And that was the cover where John Walker and Lamar Hoskins jump out of the cover, right? You got Captain America and you got Bucky. But here's the hit for me. Dwayne McDuffie had told Mark Grunwald that Bucky is a derogatory term for people of color. Mark didn't know that. 2 issues later, it was changed to Battlestar. Right? It would have been done sooner, but those other issues had already gone to print. They weren't going to change that. But he done it. There was no fight. There was no argument. There was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And he went to work on it, right? And Battlestar it's not Sam Wilson Cap, right? Battlestar was the inspiration for my guy, my marquee hero, the guy on the flag, stone, ship, mast, the Interceptor. That's it. That's what it is right there. So I remember picking that up with my grandmother. She goes, "Oh, look, one of them looks like you, one of them looks like me," right? And I fucking love that. That stuck with me. But also stuck with me because that wasn't, that prime seller, right? I went back to it a second. My books are not barn burners, right? That Captain American run was not a top book. That's why it was always readily available on the newsstand. That's why I was able to pick up every issue consecutive on the newsstand. But I didn't know that, right? I didn't know that. I just, oh my God, my favorite book is here. Let me grab it. And I was fucking happier than a pig in shit, and that's why it stuck with me, man.
All right, cool. For myself, I already mentioned Daredevil, so I'm not going to say that one again. But a couple of the books that I feel that go right. I mean, there's so. I mean, I got like freaking like 15, 20 of them, right? So, but Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, for certain, for me, is like one of my perennials. It's one of those things I got to read every other year, right? I'll reread the entire run. His mastery of just the English language, the poetry, that he brings, to just what he's doing. I mean, just the stuff he's doing, and not to mention just the psychedelic stuff that he was bringing to the book, just the weird, out of the box thinking that he was bringing to the comics. And that's not just in that one. If you read something like Promethea or whatever, but that's another thing. Another one for me would be Dynamo Joe, right, which was an independent comic. Written by Phil Foglio for the most part, and was illustrated by, and I'm friggin' blanking on his name, and I've interviewed the guy. But Dynamo Joe was one of those books that was just like an awesome book. It was like reading a manga, right, that just came out of nowhere. Doug Rice, that was the guy's name. And Doug is an incredible illustrator, great. I mean, just incredible. And his design work on this stuff was just the book just looks good. And it's 15 issues, and with a couple of little short stories written by John Osternight in the beginning to start off the series. And then he had to go off. I think he was doing, he was doing some work over at DC, so he couldn't continue. But the stuff is just really, really, really good. And I really enjoyed that series, and I was always upset that it was never more. Right. Another series will probably be, and this is another short one. It's Avengers Forever, right? Carlos Pacheco and Kurt Busiek.
Oh yeah,
Very good run. Yeah.
It's only like 12 issues long.
Yep.
Right.
R.I.P. Carlos.
Yeah. God rest his soul. And I mean that was one of those books that's just a really, really good book. And then, like I said, there's a bunch of other stuff. It's Planetary and Transmet, and like I could go on and on and on and on and on. But those, I wanted to pick some that I don't normally pick. But yeah, Avengers Forever, I just think is one of those great, really fun Avengers comics. You just read it like that one little distilled thing, and it's just like, oh, this is good. So
yeah, that was good, man.
That
They had that unfulfilled promise that they teased us for in that series with the Genesville Captain Marvel and Songbird becoming a couple. Man.
All right. Mm-hmm. Yep. But I mean, sometimes we get a lot of unfulfilled promises, but sometimes some promises do get fulfilled, right? Like Vicky Styx is going to fulfill.
Oh, my man.
So
we took a hit today.
I saw that. Do you want me to play this video?
You don't have to play the video. It's just some cover work and a small little voiceover. This is Vicky Styx Zero. The dead princess Vicky Styx, right? The last whisper of the damned calls her name when they are in trouble. This is the prequel issue. It is part comic. It is part source book. Illustrated by Omar Franquia. Written by me. This is a small little teaser story till we get into the rest of the series. Written by me, illustrated by Donny Hadiwijaya. I hope I pronounced it right. No, I did it phonetically the way he told me to break it down.
Oh, really? I heard somebody else. Yeah. He needs to just send us we need to get him on the phone.
Yeah. Hadiwijaya. Awesome dude. He's been turning the pages for me. I love it. So this is thank you, Michael. This is hi Tempe. This is another teaser. We unlocked our first stretch goal. We unlocked our first backer goal. We were really close to unlocking our second stretch goal until that pull out. We got trading cards which are always offered as stretch goals in all of our campaigns, ever growing. We've got our foil stamped blood red variants of issue 1 still available. And the limit just went back up a backer because somebody backed out of there. And that's all I got right now. That's all I got. Anybody who's into supernatural stuff, this is it. She's here, or She-Hulk, or Hellboy, or even the 1980s Beauty and the Beast TV series. I know that is what calls everybody to the campaign, right? Because that was a huge hit. But no, those are the influences for this series. New York City is the backdrop, and we're going to be exploring more of New York, not just today, but in the past as well as the series continues.
All right, very nice, very cool. Looking good.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
You got another 7 days to go,
Yeah,
right? And
just for Shorty, a 2-week campaign. Rocking and rolling with that one. We're just rocking and rolling. I can't wait to bring it out.
all right, cool. Jay, what's your question, brother?
Fuck. I really thought everybody we had here was going to keep me from having to get to another one.
Aha! Jokes on you.
All right. So when it comes to a campaign, at what point does losing backers go from okay to raise the alarm? Is it 1, 2, 10, 20? Right? Where do you say, holy shit, we got a problem? What's going on?
All right, very nice. Well, Tom, let's start with you.
I'm just used to it, so it doesn't really affect me
Tom
anymore.
is numb.
Yeah. It doesn't affect me anymore. It pisses me. It's less about like the quantity of backouts, because I just know I'm going to get 20 of them because that's just normal. It's more like when somebody comes in and they're like, $400. I'm like, that fucker's going to back out. I know that fucker's going to back out. And I have a 90% return rate on being accurate on that stuff. Every now and then somebody dives in and they're for real, but it just happened on my last campaign. I was like, that's sketch, and that guy's going to back out, and he sure did. So I get more concerned with those big chunks that fall out, because that can really derail any momentum that you're making. If especially in the middle of the campaign, where everything's just kind of creeping upwards a little at a time, and then all of a sudden you get hacked with the axe, and there's this big like fucking dip in your train, right? It's like, God damn it, now I have to remake that.
Yeah.
Slow.
Yeah.
So that's more what kind of is like, God damn it, that's the worst. But again, here's the thing, like we talked about earlier on, right? There's zero you can do about it. So the energy that you put into it, what's the purpose of putting the energy into it? You can't change it. You don't know if it's somebody got in a car accident and they don't have the money anymore, I got to back out. You don't know if they were literally just kind of jacking around. You don't know if they have $50 to spend this month and they decided to move it somewhere else. You don't know. You won't know. You can't know. You can't change it. So again, it's just energy, man. Just take that energy of like, fuck, God damn it, what's wrong? And just change it to, all right, let me make a few extra posts today and see if we can pull that $25 back that somebody dropped out on.
Yeah, $1.50. That's a chop.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's nothing you can do about the big chops. That's what I'm saying. Those are the brutal, unforgiving moments. But most of the time for me, when somebody's dropping out, it's like $50, $60. It's like it sucks, but that's I can make that back. It's just the big ones that really are like, God damn it.
Yeah. All right, Dees, what are your thoughts?
I try my best not to micromanage my campaign. Like I just kind of, I don't want to say post and ghost, but I don't check. I'm not a refresh all day. It's going to do what it's going to do. I mean, I'll post on social media, but me going in, beating myself up to see where I'm at every day it just doesn't do a ton of good. So sometimes, I won't even see until the end of a campaign when I go look at stuff. I'll be like, oh, I was higher. And then, somebody dropped out. Or I didn't even know someone was in and out. Really at the end of the day, it's all kind of fake money until the campaign's done anyway. So, kind of like Tom said, you just kind of, it just is, I think it's part of it. And, you know, the higher the goal, the higher your dollar amount you're getting. It's just kind of scales up, you know, like if you're getting $2,000, it's probably the same percentage if you get $20,000. It just feels harder at $20,000 because, you know, it just scales by dollar anyway. So, you know, you just kind of go till the end. And then as long as I'm at my goal at the end, you know, I never had the money to begin with. No one took money out of my hand. They just, you know, it didn't actually go through. So I try not to, I mean, yeah, it'd be great if I did still have it. But again, usually, you know, it's $12, $20, $30 or whatever. So you're just, yeah, okay. That's one less book or two books I'm not sending out, you know.
True. For myself, my bigger concerns, other than like during the campaign, is after the campaign, is the drop pledges, right? Those are the errored pledges and the drop pledges. Because
cards that don't charge, you know, I had that on one where, they're like, we can't get this payment through. So,
right. And I mean, you know, I on Oswald, I have very little of that, right? But when I do Dreamweavers and Magi's Grace, man, I'll have like 14, 15 of them per campaign. And I got to go after these people. You know, I gotta be like, hey guys, don't forget, you know, upgrade your cards and blah, 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 blah. You know, you're not going to get your stuff if you don't do this, you know, and you have to just, you know, play that. And you got 1 week to do it, right? So they only got 7 days. So you got to go in there, and I'm like, all right, man, you know, like this is, you know, $900 out of this campaign, and I only raised, you know, a little under $5. So I'm like, I raised 4,800 or whatever. So I'm like, it's a chunk of change for me. So I'm like, you know, so I got to get out there and hustle it. A friend of mine just told me about another campaign. It wasn't a comic book campaign. It was for video. This guy raised, when he ended the campaign, $23,000. Drop pledges, $13,000.
Oh shit!
Because one of the pledges was for $10,000 for them to be a character in a cartoon. Dead out.
Yeah,
and
that hurts. That one hurts.
that definitely does hurt. You know, and the thing is, he had spoken to the guy. He said he put the pledge up there thinking no one was gonna get it anyway. Right? And somebody got it, and they just never paid for it at the end. It's just like, oh, that sucks.
So, do you guys think that there's malicious people out there too?
Yes.
Okay.
Guaranteed.
For sure.
Guaranteed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think they know they're being malicious?
Yes.
Or
yes.
Okay.
Guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have a list of names that when I see them, I know that they're fake. I know that they're going to drop out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Jay, you haven't answered your own question.
Yeah, no, fuck it right now. Fuck it. You know, the alarms are going off, dude. Oh, Dees, I'm sorry. I hit refresh. Refresh doesn't bring me more money, bro.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to work. The circle.
Yeah. Sometimes it's less money. You know, you refresh and you're like, wait, it's going the wrong direction here.
I know. Yeah, no, you know, it's funny. I was having this conversation today in the car with the wife. And it's like, well, are you posting enough? And I'm like, let me see. I'm adding it as the bottom of a tag on a Substack. I'm doing the thread stuff. I went back onto Twitter. I can't call it X. I really can't call it X. I went back onto Twitter, trying to get some burn off of that. I am the Facebook, the Instagram. What else we got fucking on here? The newsletter. This is the one time I haven't done backer kit in a while because a lot of my backer kits were ended up in people's spam mail, so I felt like it was a waste of money to do the backer kit launch. And I still get those same numbers, you know, on the Facebook thing. I already know who's been here before. I can remember the names. So I'm out there, right? I'm churning and burning. And then go back to the earlier question that I had with you guys with, you know, do you play Monday morning quarterback, right? I look at that pie chart. I'm always looking at that pie chart. that says how much money came in from Kickstarter, how much came in from external referrals, and how much came in from custom referrals, right? And I'm like, I try to dig into that Kickstarter portion of the pie chart as much as possible because I don't want to depend on them being the ones that push me out there, right? I got to be doing the work also, and it's like I'm always doing that. So it's like,
yeah, but the problem is
go
that your work that you're now doing, this theoretical work, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, that's still not direct market. That's still you think you're talking to your fans,
okay,
but you're only doing it if those fans happen to use Instagram that day. If those if Instagram determines that your post is worth being sent out to enough people, right? So the Kickstarter number always will be the bigger number because it's direct, right? Kickstarter tells your people JD Rosario just launched a new project, goes to their email. Now they still have to open an email or whatever their notification is. Everything is still notifications, whether it's emails or whatever. But at minimum, that brand Kickstarter is working for you as best they possibly can.
I'm not trying to knock it at all.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's why that will always theoretically be higher because it's always working in a direct connection with your.
And I'm taking that.
Then it's something that social media cannot do just because algorithmically it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I mean, they say what your posts are getting to about 10% of your followers if you make a post. So you figure, 90% of the people who are following you aren't even seeing what you're posting.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, same thing with the newsletter, right? I'm only getting 16 clicks. Right, out of like 800 people on the newsletter, 16 clicks. I'm like, right? 10% of 16 clicks is what 2? Not even 2 people, right? 1.5, 1.5 people, what? Right? I hear what you're saying, Tom. I'm not taking away anything there. I just feel like I shouldn't be solely dependent on them.
No, I agree. I totally agree.
Right? And
but
with
I'm
the
just saying
links,
it's all ROI. Like I've been really deep in the ROI the last month, right? And ROI is not just investment of money; it's investment of your time, your energy. Where are you doing all this stuff? What the hell is coming back to you? So and here's the thing: I know so many people who do Kickstarters, crowdfunding, whatever.
Yeah.
And I watch these guys do so much work on podcasts and their posts, just like, oh my God, you are everywhere all the time. But when I watch the campaign, I'm not watching their campaign elevate.
Grow,
right? It's still doing the same thing. I'm not saying that they're doing poorly, but it's not like, hey, we did 5,000 and then this particular campaign, we went to 100 podcasts and we did 10,000. Like that's not happening, right? So I have then taken that information and sort of drawn back into myself like, okay, how much energy do I want to put out towards chasing podcasts and doing all of this throughout this 3 or 4 week period? How much energy am I expending on that to make $100, right? Versus I'm going to launch this campaign, and like I said earlier, people know it's there. They've been told through Kickstarter, they've been told through social media. You're going to talk about it at least through social media posts for 3 weeks. They either want it or they don't. You can't really change what they want or don't want. And yes, you can go on other podcasts, you can go on other streams and so on to get in front of new eyeballs. I recommend it, do it. But there still has to be sort of an energy value, because if you're spending all that time doing that, that's time you could be spending just working on the next issue.
Yes.
Right. Just going to an extra con, which I think is far more valuable because now you're talking directly to people. You can put a comic in their hand, right? So it's just energy, return on investment, whether it's advertising or your own personal energy. Just kind of think about it that way. What are you putting your energy into? Now, the flip side of that coin is if you do a bunch and you do see a change, then you need to analyze that. Then you need to be, where was I this time? I was on these extra 3 podcasts. Oh crap! Next time I need to be on those 3 again because something happened and I got a bump, right? So
But
you
that's
do want to
where
analyze that, but you don't want to just be like arbitrarily like, oh my god, I'm going to spend all my time.
Right, no, you can't throw spaghetti against the wall, right?
Right.
But that's where those custom links come in, right? Calderon gets a new link, right? When I'm on Bobby's podcast, he gets a link. When I'm
Sure.
on,
Oh, that's easy stuff.
you know,
That's
mine,
easy
I get a
stuff.
different
Yes.
link, right?
Totally.
When I
agree.
do the Substack, when I do the Poise and all these different social media places, each
Yes.
one gets a link, so I know where the
Of
traffic
course.
is coming
That's
back,
a very easy thing to do. That's very good.
so I can spend that time in there. But I see where you're going also with quality over quantity, right? All right. I don't know if you guys got an email from Zdarsky Comic Shop News looking for soliciting advertisements.
No, I haven't seen that.
All right, I got it. I'll send it to you guys. Dees, if you want, I'll send it to you also.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys know who Gabe was from Reed Pop. He's now working with Prana and that. So he's the one that sent me the email. An eighth of a page, $3.50 something, right? Quarter of a page, $5 and change. I don't remember what a half page was, but a full page interior was $1,900, and the rear cover was, I want to say, $2,500, right? But their circulation numbers are 25,000 units a month, and they're across the nation. How can we utilize that for crowdfunding? Or do we keep late pledges open for an entire year so you can capitalize on that?
You just
Or-
no. You just advertise yourself.
There you go.
Your website, your presence. You don't worry about a Kickstarter. You just say Unstoppable Comics, come to this website and get it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm sure. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, like I said, I have a shop set up on my websites. You can go buy any past issues, physical, digital.
Yeah, me too.
And yeah, so I mean, that it's like, yeah, just send them to the website, and then from there they can connect your social media. They can, there's previews of all the issues that are up there, and it's all done, through PayPal, Square, however they want to pay. And then I just get the email and ship them out. But yeah, because the website's evergreen. The Kickstarters are temporary, so you got to point them to where you're always going to be, where they can always find you.
Yeah.
Right, Dees. I send you a friend request so that way I can send you the rate card on Messenger. All right, let me
See, my thing though is I would want to know how they're putting these ads in this thing. Are they going to make it like a comic book where it's kind of in between these articles, or is it just going to be all at the end? Because if it's all just at the end, I don't want any part of that, because people will realize, well, these are just ads. I don't care. But if it's mixed in, then you have a chance to just sort of be casually glanced at as they're turning pages. So hopefully they'll do something along those lines.
Yeah, that's a good point of where the placement is, and how many people are actually on it. What if you're buying part of a page? What else is on that page? I'd be interested in knowing. But I, call me cynical. I'm not sure how much you get. You're talking about ROI. I'm not sure how much that would benefit. Because you guys know this. I know this. Comic book readers are extremely fickle. They're only paying attention to what they're looking for, So you can get in front of 25,000 people, but if they're just looking for an article or a certain thing that Chip wrote in that thing or whatever, they're not even fucking looking at the ads, they're breezing right past them. We're just inundated with crap all the time, that stuff like that. And it's part of the problem with even advertising on social media is like, people are scrolling, but how much are they actually absorbing, right? They've got to be really active participants of your product already to stop and interact with it. Otherwise, it's just like a barrage of shit at people all day, every day, that the chance of grabbing their attention is real tougher and tougher all the time.
You'd have to be a full or a half page to even be relevant.
Yeah.
I would think something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would have seen almost even say you'd have to be a full. I mean, even a half page is struggling. And again, yeah, what's the other half of the page? So, I mean,
I think that if you're a half, you have double the opportunity to be seen in that regard, because it's big enough that you'll be seen. But even if they look at you and they're like, oh, I don't know what that is, but something on top is something else.
Yeah.
You could get them to stop right there. But when you go now to quarters and so on, it just becomes too small and too cluttered.
Right.
But if you're by yourself or with one other thing, I think that's the minimum that you should be doing.
So a half page is 1,045.
Yeah. See, I mean, I mean, to me, I could spend $1,045 and guarantee a lot better return on investment in that money in a different way. You know, that pays for a couple conventions, that pays for a lot of printing of books, that pays for a lot of stuff that I think would be better than an ad in a. I mean, I don't know. I see those things sitting around comic book shops all the time. Like,
you see, dude, I don't.
Who picks them? Who's reading that? Who's picking that up? I mean, people are. I'm not going to say no one is, you know, especially from a guy like Chip. But like, is enough to make a dent in, you know, an unknown book that's advertising half a page in this thing? I don't know. Not my opinion, but maybe for someone.
Yeah, I don't think it's effective necessarily for guys like us who are just doing Kickstarters, but for people who are maybe in the direct market, more so, because that's where it's targeted towards. So those are the books that are really selling. That should be your market.
Sure.
Right.
Well, and you know, also those things are already recognizable in general. You know, even stuff that has like a Mad Cave label on it is going to be more recognizable just because of the logo than something that I put out or whatever. You know, just by nature of the industry.
For sure. All right, gentlemen, you know, despite 3 Indians falling off, we made it to the end. All right.
Yeah, dude. I did the Amazing Spider-Man 7 Little Superheroes reference. You know, you went with the little Indians. I'm trying to keep it in theme, dude.
All right. Well, you know. So let's start with Dees. Where can we find you and your work, sir?
Yeah, you can go to inferno.earth is the handle. That's our website is inferno.earth. It's not .com. .earth is the domain. Inferno.earth is our Instagram, Inferno Comics on Facebook. Or you can follow me directly at dees.comedy. That's on most platforms also, or deescomedy.com is the website. But yeah, Kickstarter, we still have late pledges for number 3. All 3, there's catch-ups. You can get all 3, or you can just go to the website and order everything directly from us at inferno.earth, or DM me. I'll figure it out. I'll take, you know, Cash App, Venmo, Gold Bullion, Prussian francs. I don't give a shit. You find your payment method. We'll work it out. I'll ship it to you. So
nice. Tom,
BigDogInc.com. Get your books.
All right, cool. Jay,
UnstableComics.com. All my links, everything is on there.
All right, cool. Now, real quick before we go, I just wanted to show this. All right, so these are the Oswald Chronicles. I got another 10 days left. Go check it out. Then we'll leave it at that. All right.
Nice.
So, all right. So, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the guests that were here. They were all awesome. Everybody was great. So, just remember, please check out the show notes. The show notes has everybody's links. You can click on those links, pick up those books. All the creators who are here, all the creators who were here, are passionate about their projects. All of them love indie comics. All of them are creating great works, and they deserve your support. So please go check out those guys. Everyone's doing great work, so go check it out. Thank you so much. And just remember, read more indie comics, especially ours. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night.
Later.